Yo, what is up, my homies? We are back for more ChäoS. But first, we will save the glorious saving of the saves of the data. Whoa! Why do we start every fucking episode with a burp? Fuck off! A sharp voice, a cold gaze. There was a patent enmity in... What the fuck? There was a patent enmity in Sena's eyes. Forgive me for butchering this. Orida. Kono dio da. As she spoke, she thrust out my essay, the one with IR2 doodle drawn on the back of it. For some reason, it was covered in wrinkles. Why did Sena have it? Why was Sena here? Right, I know. Breaking and entering, those words floated up in my head. I realized she'd searched my room. What for? Oh, shut up. Uh-oh. It was Kozupi's inner voice. She was behind Sena's back. She crawled on all fours, sticking her head out in our direction. Her expression was terribly tense. Oh boy. At almost the exact same time as Kozupii yelled, Sena jumped down. She raised the sword, What? She raised the sword over her head. Oh shit! Rimi pulled my arm hard, sending me tumbling backward. I raised my head in a flurry and looked at the place where I had previously been standing. Oh jeez. This is gonna be fucked up, isn't it? Oh no, never mind. Sena's sword gouged the surface of the roof. I honestly thought Rimi would have been in half, but okay. Dreadful, with its unreal sharpness and destructive power. It had been an impact sufficient to shatter concrete, but the sword itself bore not a scratch. Weren't these swords supposed to be swords people couldn't see or even touch? A certain word flitted across the back of my brain. Her sword had been real booted. Sena's D-sword, having attained the local shared recognition of the four of us here in this place, was real, not a delusion. It was a great sword. It was a great sword that could actually cut people's lives away. If Rimi hadn't pulled at me, that beautiful sword would have sliced me cleanly through the head. Instant death. Trembling bolted throughout my whole body. Just now, Sena had unmistakably tried to kill me. Why? My head was full of doubts and questions. Before this, she and Kozupii and I had eaten crunchy together as a trio. Haha, he said trio. We definitely weren't close enough that you could call us friends, and even back then she kept her intimidating attitude till the very end. Even so, it shouldn't have been such a sour relationship as to make her attack me with her D-sword out of the blue. Sena raised her face. She glared at me harder still. Her movements were swift, despite the fact that she carried such a vast sword. She sprang forward from the ground like a sprinter lunging out from a crouching start. She swung her sword as though to make its tip cut a line in the ground, closing the distance between us. She raised it on high. My instincts awoke to the nature of the situation in an instant. She was serious. Sena truly. I lay collapsed gracelessly on my back. I'd lost my voice. I couldn't escape. All too unreasonable. All too sudden. To think I'd hit a game over like this. To think I'd get ambushed by Sena after desperately fleeing Shogun. No, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. There, a single human form leapt forward, diving between me and Sena, standing in the way. When I looked, Rimi's back was before me. She had both her arms spread out as though to block Sena's path as she charged at me. She would risk harm to protect me? But then Rimi would die. No, I couldn't take that. Suddenly, I remember what Kozupii had said to me before. Pale light overflowed from Rimi's outspread hands. Oh god, here we go. Real boot in that sword!
先畑さんはよくわかんないのら。
Rimi.
タクに手を出さないで。
She crossed her hands over each other as though to bind the overflowing light together. The air trembled. Glittering feathers of light from somewhere danced about her. That which materialized in her hands. She caught and stopped Sena's colossal, furiously lowered sword with ease.
タクを追い詰めないで。
It was far too graceful and far too divine to be called a sword. So much so that one mistook it for an angel's wings. And then I understood. She too, Sakihata Rimi too, was a gigalomaniac. Well, no shit, asshole. Is this the end of the chapter? Nope. Well, shit. This is going places. Aoyasena stared at the face of the girl in front of her with astonishment. The sword, shaped like a pair of wings, which had stopped the attack from Sena's D-sword without any difficulty, was clearly a D-sword itself. If she weren't accustomed to handling it, she wouldn't have been able to catch Sena's blow with such excellent timing. That is actually true, though. Wow. Kozupii gazed at Sena and the others from atop the container housing, as if she were sightseeing from the sidelines. She sat on the edge, kicking her hanging legs a little in the air. Quite a carefree attitude for having interfered with her surprise attack bare seconds ago, Sena thought, clicking her tongue inwardly. But her eyes didn't slide away from Rimi. Right in front of her, Rimi, in contrast, had on a brooding expression. Behind Rimi, the pathetically crumpled Nishijo Takumi let out a moan. He was Sena's ultimate target, and she had no intention of fighting with Rimi. Moreover, this wasn't a manga or anime. It probably wasn't unrealistic to conceive of a battle between these swords.
その男が何をしたか知っているのか IR2 という公式を
知ってるよ
Huh. She cut off Sena's words, a quiet, sorrowful but distinct answer. Hearing it, Sena gripped her D-sword harder.
それなら
タクを覚醒させればもっと大変なことになる
その前に殺す
あなたには無理だよ
There was no point in talking to her. Sena deemed she took a stance to protect the distance between them. Rimi, on the other hand, only stood there casually. It would take about 5 large strides to reach the slumped-over Nishijo Takumi, a distance from which she could bring things to an end in 3 seconds. Right. But the thing is, if she attacks him, he probably awakens and gets his own D-sword, and then he just fucks her up, right? That's just the way it is. Sena unhesitatingly lunged straight at Rimi. Aiming for her, Sena swept her D-sword horizontally. Rimi attempted to catch it in the same way as she had before. But... What? Sena's flashing attack was a feint. Ooh. Her sword passed through Rimi's sword and body. She'd undone the real booting. Oh, okay. Now Sena's D-sword was no more than a delusion. Unable to touch anything, unable to cut anything, and unable to kill anything. But that was exactly what she'd aimed for. Remy, who'd braced herself to receive the attack, reacted too slowly. In the meantime, Sena had already slipped past her side and taken another 2 strides, closing in on Takumi. Shit. She reverted to a real booted state in an instant. Okay, the purple is real booting. Okay. Or the pink, really. With this, Takumi's eyes turned toward her. I'm actually changing position here. You can hear that. My rubbery seat. Takumi's eyes turned toward her, brimming with the hue of terror, and it took little effort for her to finish real booting. When she prepared to gore through Takumi's heart with her sword that had once again become part of reality.
Sena.
Someone's shadow flittered across the corner of her sight. The instant she heard that voice, she became deeply shaken, missed her mark. And the end of her sword grazed Takumi's feet and embedded itself in the concrete. Sena slowly raised her head and released the voice again to a growl. At the edge of the roof, a deepening sunset at his back, a lone man stood there like a ghost. Oh. Well, looks like, I was wrong about this guy. He's apparently not Takumi from the future. Or maybe he is, we don't know yet, but... Bloodshot eyes and sunken sockets. Oh, hold on, I didn't read. Hold on, I did. His head hung down, expressionless. The second she spotted him, Sena stopped caring about what became of Takumi. The man she had the man she had constantly been chasing, the object of her hatred. Daddy cool. The man who had run her away and betrayed his family. The man was before her eyes. Stepping toward her, Sena grit her teeth to endure the surging hatred. She readied her D-sword again. Another step forward.
どうしようもなかった。私はお前の母さんを生贄に捧げるしかなかったんだ。
黙れ。
母さんの最後、とても安らかなものだったよ。だからセナ、安心してほしい。母さんのおかげで素晴らしい実験結果が出た。母さんは世界のために役立ったんだ。
You know you're really not helping, probably.
お前も母さんの功績を誇っていい。
黙れよ!
When the blood rushed to her head, Sena no longer saw anything but the man's form. She ran. Oh God. In an instant, Sena covered the distance between them in the blink of an eye, sprang at his chest, and stabbed him deep with her D-sword. It was Sena's dearest wish. She had wanted Shibuya every day solely for the sake of killing this man. She had always dreamed of the day when she would kill him.
やっと母さんの仇を。
She tried to pull out her D-sword. She tried to move away from him, but it wouldn't come out. The man embraced her as if to enfold her.
よせ、気安く触るな。
All the fine hairs on her body stood on end. If he did such a thing to her now, after so much time, it would only horrify her. Sena had long since severed the family bond that had once existed between her and him. Yet she was shocked at herself for how, for some reason, she couldn't push him away. Warmth, a broad chest, the real sensation of her father, her red-stained hands.
私はこんなの。 あなた
前が望んだ妄想だ。
望んだ妄想だよ。
What the fuck? お前が望んだ妄想だ。At that whisper, Sena understood. An arrow had slipped into her dead spots. A psychological attack. Bewitchery! Remy had read her fantasies. By the time she realized her mistake, it was too late. Losing her balance, she toppled from the edge of the roof together with the man. What the fuck? To Sena, the ground 8 floors below them looked terribly distant. Well, at least we didn't get like the Summer Days ending where someone fell off a fucking roof and split in half. I could only watch it incomprehensibly. Abruptly dashing to the edge of the roof, Sena lost her balance all on her own and was at this very moment about to fall off. Oh, okay, yeah. She's, you know, Remy's using a delusion spell. Fucking shotgun shit on her. Her body threatened to disappear over the edge. All I could do was murmur. I closed my eyes tight. Suicide. Sena had plotted to kill herself by jumping off. I didn't know why. Oh, shit. I wouldn't stand for knowing why. She'd attacked me out of the blue. Now she was receiving heavenly punishment. 10 bahts. She'd been my enemy too. No matter how much time passed, I didn't hear the sound of her crashing below. I attentively opened my eyes to see what was happening. And then we used the wardo. Zawardo. Sena wasn't falling. She'd slumped down. Remy stood close behind her. She was gripping Sena's arm. Had Remy saved her? Sena flung away her D-sword and wept like a child. What the hell was going on with this sequence of events? I know, right? To me, at least, it had only looked as though Sena were single-handedly trying to die.
辛い思いさせてごめんね。でもしょうがなかったの。
What had Remy done to her? She was like another person compared to the usual cheery Remy. A tormented expression, a sorrowful murmur, wavering eyes. A Remy I didn't know was there. A voice resounded in my heart. As before, Kozupii watched how we were doing from the top of the container housing.
もう終了だよね。もしもセナさんのことぐしゃばきってしようとしてるならコズピ許さないぽん。崎畑さんのことバラバラにしちゃうよ。
Jesus. My back went ice cold. Kozupii had the same airheaded anime-style voice as always, but she meant when she said, "Oh, definitely."
もう終わり。もともと葵さんのことどうこうするつもりはないし、タクの前から消えてくれるならこのまま解放する。それは無理。だってコズピーとセナちゃんとタクミちゃんはお友達だもん。
Right.
ね、そうでしょ、タクミちゃん。
I couldn't think about anything. If someone told me everything happening now was a dream, I'd undoubtedly believe them. Why had Sena suddenly attacked me in the first place? Had she been my enemy all along? Fuck. Sena, who had been sobbing, raised her face. She didn't attempt to wipe her tears. She was still collapsed on the ground. She stared at me harshly. Fuck, I keep pressing the right mouse button. I floundered. She battered me with raw emotion. What are you claiming I've done? Well, maybe, you know, the whole IR2 thing, you know. I don't cause trouble for anyone. And I certainly didn't know about anything. I certainly didn't know a thing about Sena's family. I'm very much a harmless human being. She'd read my mind. Destroy the world? Another self-centered fantasy? I glanced at Mimi, seeking her help, but she stood with her back facing us, looking vaguely out at the darkening sky. Her figure, her voice. Was it my imagination that it seemed horribly lonely? When Mimi said it that way, it almost seemed as if she knew anything and everything. Equation? It sounded like they were talking about me, but I couldn't keep up with their conversation. Oh god. Don't show it to her, she's gonna flip his shit. Kozupii descended from the container housing, holding my essay, which was drawn there, the scribble I had written in elementary school. I had too. It was the origin of the chaos now besieging Shibuya. Talk about a false accusation. Of course a doodle like that couldn't possess such power. I had truly been in a light-hearted frame of mind when I drew this doodle. I must have been, because it had happened so long ago. I couldn't remember too well, but it bore no particular meaning. I'd only copied numbers that appeared in a dream of mine. A dream related to whose eyes are those eyes, essay written on the front. I'd used those words since the distant past, and at some point they tainted me more and more in the shape hold on, let me reread this shit. I'd used those words since the distant past, and at some point they attained more and more of shape in my dreams. Therein lay the numbers.
FUN の10乗かける INT の40乗イコール IR2.
Sena had wiped her eyes at last, leaving them bright red. Even so, she remained crumpled, head lowered in apparent frustration as she wove her words.
この公式をお前が生み出した瞬間、世界は分岐したんだ。
Shit. Oh, new chapter, make it happen game. Nope.
ノア2に搭載されている中で最も秀でているのは、中核システムに組み込まれたとある方程式です。これは人類史上未だ回答が見つかっていないとされているもの。
ミレニアム7のうちの一つかね。
One of the Millennium items. It's time to do. Oh shit. Whatever. We're gonna call it here, boys. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for watching.